In this video, I'll be going over my most wanted Marvel Legends MCU action figures. So the way this video is going to work is I'll be going from most likely to least likely to be made, as well as how these items will be released, what the cost will be for each of them, and how any new parts can be reused for other action figures in the future. Because at the end of the day, we know Hasbro will use every single mode to the end of time, and they are more likely to make a new part if they can reuse said part in the future. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get on to the video. Now before we go on to the list, let's talk about some honorable mentions. The High Evolutionary is one that we need, and he would have to be an all-new sculpt. Thunderbolt Ross is a simple suited body, and then include 2 heads, one for each actor, so you get both looks. Purple Man was a great underrated villain, and it is a simple figure just on a suited body. Loki from season 2 is one I'm surprised we don't have yet, but most likely he will appear in Doomsday or Secret Wars, so we'll probably get him then. Caecilius will probably just be on some Doctor Strange body with some new overlays on top. Scarab is just a cool design, but most likely we'll never get this character. Werewolf by Night would have to be a new sculpt. They can release a black and white version and a normal version. Squirrels in a 2-pack, 1 male, 1 female with multiple heads. So anyway, that is my honorable mention. Some of these I do think we will get, like Loki, while others like Scarab or the Skrulls I don't really see us ever getting. But anyway, let's get on to my most wanted. Now the next set of figures would be a Build-A-Figure wave, and that is of the Avengers from the first Avengers movie. Now again, this would be nice to see, especially because in 2027 we will be having 15th anniversary of the first Avengers movie. Now we do have all of these characters already in some form, but more than half do need to be all new sculpts. So obviously this would be a Build-A-Figure wave consisting of 7 figures, with one of them not having a Build-A-Figure part. The first figure I will mention is pretty much perfect, and that is the Mark 7 Iron Man suit. All they would really have to do is make this pinless, but knowing Hasbro, they probably won't even do that. The recent Infinity Saga Black Widow is, again, pretty much perfect, just needs that U-joint and it would be perfect. Knowing them, they won't even give new heads, so that would kind of suck, but at least that new U-joint on this figure would be really nice. As for Thor, he would probably just need a new torso piece, mainly because the rest of the figure from Thor the Dark World is pretty accurate, not quite. That's why I think he should be an all new, but again, knowing Hasbro, they will try to reuse as many parts as they can. But obviously a dream would be a cloth wired cape. Hasbro just does not seem to want to do that, so that does kind of suck. Captain America would have to be an all new sculpt. They did re-release that really old cap with the Y joints in the Bro Thor Build-A-Figure, and man, that thing is just severely outdated, so he would have to be all new from the ground up. A masked head, an unmasked head, and obviously the shield. The next figure that would have to be an all new sculpt as well is Hawkeye, because the older one had the Y jointed hips and it didn't even have photo real, so this does need an upgrade with modern technology. And please just give us a new quiver piece. Ever since they made this quiver piece, they've used it for like every fucking character at this point, and it is quite embarrassing in my opinion. Now they can reuse the legs once they make new ones with other kind of generic figures, since it is just black pants and black boots, so that would be a plus for them, I guess. The next character in this wave would be an all-new Nick Fury. We did get Nick Fury in a 3-pack with Agent Coulson and Maria Hill, but again, that figure is severely outdated to today's standards. And yes, I know they did one for the Secret Invasion show, but I want the classic trench coat Nick Fury, and it is a simple black suited figure that they can reuse that body over and over, and they probably won't even make new parts other than the head for this character. The last character in this wave would be Loki. They also did him back when that Avengers movie was coming out, but he is again severely outdated, doesn't even look good. The big chunky pins, no photo real of the head, and I do think the staff is a little undersized. So again, this would have to be an all new sculpted figure, and I think would look fantastic with modern technology. And the Build-A-Figure for this will obviously be Hulk. We desperately need a new Savage Hulk. The one on my collection that's quote unquote savage is from Avengers Age of Ultron, and that figure is also outdated with the wide jointed hips and the arms being really kind of loose and gummy. So I would love to see them do a really big, bulky, angry Hulk figure. As for his accessories, he should come with 2 sets of hands, obviously one fisted, one clenched, at least 2 heads, but preferably 3. Give him one kind of neutral, one angry open mouth, and one with the smirk. So again, if this were to be released, it will be in 2027. So, Hasbro, if you start making it now, you could release it by May, which is when the movie released. And the price of these would be $28, which is just the standard of today's market. As for this Avengers Hulk Build-A-Figure wave, I would put it at about a 80% chance of being made. Mainly due to the fact that I could see them doing this, but probably not as a Build-A-Figure set, and most likely just single releases and then do Hulk as a deluxe. If that were to happen, it would be nice if it came with more heads and hands or different kind of accessories from the film, but knowing Hasbro, that probably won't happen. Whiplash is a character we desperately need in the Marvel Legends line. He was a pretty good villain in Iron Man 2, so I just don't see why we don't have him already. The only reason I can think of why we don't have this character is because of the likeness. And perhaps Mickey Rourke's likeness is just a little too much for this to be an affordable figure. But that doesn't really matter, because if they were to make this figure, he would already be a little higher than a standard $28 figure. The main reason is because of the tattoos, because I can easily see Hasbro just saying, oh, it costs too much, so that's why he's going to be at about, I would say, a $35 to $40 price point, and he would have to be an all new sculpt as well. The only thing I could see them reusing from other figures is the electric effects that came with the MCU Electro, and most likely if they do have him at that higher price point, I would like a couple different of the Whiplash tendrils. Obviously 2 that are just long where you could put the electric effect onto it, and maybe one that is already pre-curled so you can wrap it around Iron Man. As for reusing this mold, the only characters that come to mind are the PS4 Spider-Man villains, the prisoners. Obviously they can just reuse the prisoner legs, but also some of those villains also had Whiplash things, so that would be a good way to reuse this body in the future. And then they can just give us a new upper torso to finish the look of a prisoner, and just put that in a 2-pack, $50. And if they were to do that, that would be a good way for people to army build. So the price for this figure, I would assume, would be $35. It should come with 2 heads, one with the toothpick on, one without, a set of straight whips, as well as a set of pre-curled whips. He should also come with a set of fisted hands as well as gripping hands to grip the whip. Now I guess we can also get his armored up version, which yes, looks pretty cool, but I do want the normal version first. This will most likely again have to be an all new sculpt, but I can also see them reusing parts from the Hydra Stomper, but mainly just like the arms and torso with some new overlays on top. Whiplash to me has about a 50% chance of being made into a Marvel Legends figure, mainly due to the fact that the movie has been out for obviously many years at this point, and there was never been a even hint of this character. So to me, it is pretty unlikely, but it's not zero. It could go either way. Hopefully one day we do see this character, because I would like to get him. As for the armored version, that's even less likely, at about probably a 30 to 40% chance. Giant Man is a character we've actually gotten before, once as a Build-A-Figure and once as a regular deluxe release. However, those were the Civil War versions, and I think they should do an Endgame version that is a made-to-order figure, and it should be the size of the recent X-Men 97 Sentinel. Now yes, technically I guess you could make a HasLab, however the comic version didn't even fully fund, so I do not see an MCU Giant Man and HasLab funding, and also what would you include as accessories. We pretty much have every character from Civil War as well as Endgame, even ones that I kind of would have suggested, like a Transparent Vision, but they did him in a 2-pack many years ago, so this release should just be a made to order figure. Obviously he would have to be an all new sculpt, articulated hands, and maybe some extra eyepieces or movable eyes. I personally think they should go with actual moving eyeballs, especially how big he will be. And also we saw the catastrophe of the Giant Man comic book HasLab, where they just didn't really put the eyes on right, so a lot of people had to get refunds, or Hasbro had to send them out new eyepieces. Now, how much would this figure cost? I would say anywhere from $180 to $200. The reason I think this will be more expensive than the X-Men 97 Sentinel, because it's obviously an MCU figure, it's gonna have all kinds of texture, and I can easily just see them kind of being like, oh, he has more texture and paint than the X-Men 97 Sentinel, that's why he's more expensive. However, this is a release I would love to see them do, especially since the old Build-A-Figure is about 10 inches. This will probably be 20 to 22, just like the Sentinel. I would put Giant Man at about a 95% chance of being made. Again, we've seen Giant Man many times in the MCU, obviously Civil War and 2 out of the 3 Ant-Man movies, as well as Endgame, and this is one that I would hope would be that made to order figure to make him way bigger and would be a better alternative than the HasLab like I mentioned. The Deadpool Corps is a set of characters. I can easily see them doing like one of these a year at this point. But the main ones I want to talk about would be a Lady Deadpool. The way I see them releasing this figure is actually in a deluxe, like the recent Deadpool figure with the Hulk hands, probably around that $40 to $50 price point, because it should include obviously Lady Deadpool, Baby Pool, Kid Pool, and maybe just throw in Head Pool and Dog Pool as well. Obviously all of these would have to be all new scopes, and I would like to see a bunch of accessories, and at that point I can easily see them charging $50 to $60 for that kind of deluxe 2-3 pack, knowing that they'll probably call it a 5-pack and charge even more. But I'm a sucker and I will buy that set. As for the other Deadpool variants I want, the first would be Deadpool Samurai. Again, all new scopes, but if they were to do these baggy clothes, they could probably reuse them for other samurai in the future. Another character I would like to see is Deadpool 2099. This would have to be an all new sculpt in my opinion, with all the lines and detail work sculpted onto the body. And I can see Hasbro easily re-releasing this figure with probably a new head and different accessories in the future, marketed as a comic book version. And finally, Golden Age Deadpool is just a fun looking design, and to be honest, I can easily see people putting these behind, let's say, a Red Skull figure, because they already have like that red black kind of German aesthetic, and I would be kind of tempted to do that myself. As for reusing these for other characters, it is just generic kind of legs and arms. The torso would be a little harder to figure out, but I'm pretty sure Hasbro will reuse this some way, shape, or form, and this is one I do see them doing, especially since we did get that recent Cowboy Deadpool. Now there are many more of the Deadpool Corps from this one shot alone. However, the ones I mentioned are, to me, the more important ones and the cooler looking ones, and the ones that are more towards the front, but they can easily just release hundreds of Deadpools. I would also like to see a kind of fat Deadpool. I think there was a fat Deadpool, or do Peter in the Deadpool costume like he showed up later in the movie. That would be kind of cool to see. But yeah, as for how likely the Deadpool Corps is to be made, I'd say about a 99% chance for the Lady Pool, Kid Pool, and Baby Pool deluxe pack. As for the others I mentioned, I would put Golden Age Deadpool at 50%, Samurai Pool at about 55%, and Deadpool 2099 at a 80% chance of being made. The Chitauri are a set of figures I am very surprised we do not have yet. However, I do think we are one step closer to getting these figures for 2 reasons. The first reason being that we did recently get that Outriders 2-pack from Infinity War, so I could just see them doing the same thing with the Chitauri, with multiple heads, a couple different guns, and a few different hands. The second reason is because in 2027 would be the 15-year anniversary of the first Avengers film. and I think in about 2 years would be a good time to get these figures. Now Hasbro has actually done this character in the 5-inch kid line, and it did look decent for what it was. I think it was around $10, but it is long overdue for a adult 6-inch action figure of this character. Another company that did this character was Diamond Select Toys, but obviously that one was not really good in terms of movement. And obviously Hot Toys did do the Chitauri as well, so those do look good, but again, that's 1/6. We over here collect the best scale, that being obviously 1/12. As for the price of these, I do see these being around that $28 price point. However, I do see Hasbro making this into a 2-pack, just like they did the Outrider set, and that would be cool. You know, you get at least 3 heads, one with the mouth open, one with the mouth closed, and one with the kind of shield on its face. 2 different pairs of hands for each, as well as a regular kind of gun and the kind of hand cannon they put around their arm. Another quick thing that is highly unlikely, like if I had to rate it, probably a 10 to 20% chance of this being made, and that is a made to order Leviathan. Again, I do think this is highly unlikely to ever happen, but I do want to mention it here real quick. If this were to be made, made to order figure, probably around $200. As for the significance, it showed up in Endgame and obviously in the first Avengers movie, so again, nice but highly unlikely. I would put the Chitauri at about a 90% chance of being made. It is highly likely, but it might be again in 2027. Juggernaut from the Deadpool 2 movie is a character I would love to see in the Marvel Legends line. Now, if I do remember, I believe it was Dan Hune on Twitter said if the Colossus sold well, then they might consider doing this, and I think it sold decently well, so I would still like to see them make this figure. Obviously I would prefer a kind of build-a-figure, and you can just throw in a bunch of different Deadpool versions in there, from Deadpool Wolverine, or even throw in the X-Force from the Deadpool 2 movie, or they can put him in a 2-pack with Firefist. And if you did Juggernaut from this movie, you would also probably want to do Firefist as well, so doing them in a deluxe 2-pack would be kind of cool. Obviously Juggernaut would have to be a 100% new sculpt. As for Firefist, it is just a generic body, unless they also go with the prisoner look, but that's not the look we all kind of want. I was thinking they could probably reuse the Ned figure from that Peter Parker Ned 2-pack, but I do think he's just a little too tall because Firefist is supposed to be a kid. They can also probably just shrink this body. I could easily see them doing that as well. As for the accessories, Firefist, 2 hands, 2 heads, and obviously fire effects, probably just reusing fire effects they've done many times before. Juggernaut would have to come with a set of gripping hands so he can clench to kind of break Deadpool in half, set of fisted hands, and in a perfect world 2 sets of arms, 1 sleeveless and 1 sleeved, but most likely they would just go sleeveless, which I don't mind because that is the look I would probably just keep him as on my shelf. Now, the percentage for Juggernaut to be made, in my opinion, is about an 80 to 85% chance. As for Firefist, I would put him at 80% chance if Juggernaut is made, and if so, that 80% will be jumped up to probably 90 to 95. The Ancient One would be a nice addition to the magical side of the MCU collection, and I am kind of surprised we have not gotten her yet. Obviously she did play a big role in the first Doctor Strange movie, but she also appeared in Endgame. This figure would have to be all new. The only accessory I could see them reusing are the magical hands, the ones we get with pretty much every female, even ones that aren't magical. Those are like the tried and true hands we get with these kinds of characters. And the rest of the character would most likely be all new. Maybe they can reuse the legs, but I don't really see what character has similar legs to these. As for reusing this body, they can probably just use it as a generic sorcerer in the back, I guess. But how likely is that to sell? There's nobody really coming to mind at this moment. Now, I did mention Calcidius in my honorable mentions because I don't really see us getting him. But if we were to get the Ancient One, then we might get this character. And again, it is just a generic kind of robes guy with a new head. So if we do get the Ancient One, I could see us getting one step closer to getting this villain from Doctor Strange 1. And again, she did appear in Endgame, and they've pretty much done all the characters from Endgame, so she is one that we do desperately need for the collection. As for the price, it would be your standard $28 figure, and the accessories should include 2 different heads, one normal and one with the mark on her forehead, 2 different hood pieces, one down and one up, at least 3 pairs of hands, I would say fisted hands, the tried and true magical hands, and maybe some like flat palm hands, and she should come with at least 1 magic effect. Personally, I would like to see 2, but again, this is Hasbro, so I doubt we will get a fraction of what I mentioned. I do think the ancient one does have about a 75% chance of being made. Now, I would like to put it higher at about 80 to 85% chance, but it has been a while as well, and who knows if we will ever see this character again. Maybe with the whole multiversal thing, we'll probably see her once or twice in the future, so hopefully then we do get this character because I did like her in the movies. The next character is an army builder, and that is Ultron bots. Now, we did see a glimpse of this army builder with the Quicksilver figure that released a couple years back. That only came with 1 arm, the head, and the torso piece with no articulation, sadly. So this is an army builder, so I can easily see me getting about 4 of these to go around the Marvel Legends Ultron figure. He would obviously have to be an all-new sculpt, and I don't really see what characters they can reuse this body for, so let me know if you have any ideas in the comments below. As for the price, he would be your standard $28 figure, at least 2 different heads, one with the red eyes and one with the blue eyes, so that way you can even put these behind an Iron Man figure and it could play double duty, and if they do that, I can easily see me getting 2 to 3 more. And he should come with the gauntlet piece that can go onto his right arm, and hopefully a set of fisted hands as well as gripping hands, because why not? The Ultron bots are, in my opinion, at a 80% chance of being made. It is again highly likely, especially since we got that Quicksilver a couple years back, but again, that Quicksilver was a couple years back, so it's like I feel like they should have done it by now, or they should have done it when the Multiverse of Madness movie came out and we saw different versions of the Ultron bots. So who knows if we'll ever get this army builder, but hopefully one day we do get these figures. So that was my most wanted MCU Marvel Legends action figures for Hasbro to make. What did you guys think of this list? Was it good, bad? Would you buy any of these, none of these? Let me know in the comments below, and I will try to respond to all the comments as fast as I can. But yeah, let me know what characters you would like to see. Again, we've gotten pretty much everybody, so this list was kind of hard for me to make. Now, there are a bunch of characters they can do. I was gonna mention the X-Men from the Fox franchise, but it is rumored that we're probably gonna get some of those characters, and obviously in Doomsday we're gonna get the more comic book accurate versions, and hopefully then Hasbro gives us those, because I would much rather prefer those on my shelf than the black kind of costume ones from the past. Now, I also didn't mention characters like Gambit, because he is rumored by Dave from Displaying Model Behavior to be releasing later this year. And you know, once you go multiversal, you can go back to like Punisher from the 2004 movie, you can go Tobey Maguire with that Spider-Man movies. I would love to see the villains from those movies as well, but how likely is that to be made? Highly unlikely in my opinion. However, that was my video. Let me know if you liked it by disliking it, liking it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Now fuck off.